But let's zoom in on what's going on at the Nigerian exchange. Let's get insights from Oluwatobi Adesanya, equity trader, Zcrest Securities Limited. Good afternoon, Toby. It's good to have you on the show. Can you all, okay, good afternoon. Can you unmute your mic? Great, very great. We saw the CBN, the Central Bank MPC, hold rates yesterday in line with expectations. There's been movement, positive movement in the market, but not significant. Why do you think this is?
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So, I mean, we saw the MPC hold rate as 27.5% yesterday, and that was expected from them. So, and we have not really seen that affected the market in a negative way, but rather we can interpret that to mean that things are getting better gradually in the economy. Because looking at inflation numbers, for example, inflation reduced to 23.71%. So there won't be any reason to hike rates. So it would be nice for them to hold it and observe the economic indicators. So coming down to the stock market, you know, that kind of signal a better economic indicator, like I mentioned, better economic performance. And we expect that to also filter into the companies we have on the exchange. So on the contrary, I mean, we are seeing a lot of investors' interest, investment sentiment positively in the market. We are seeing more demands across sectors.
Okay, so right now, the reaction in the market post MPC, that's the normal thing we should see because investors probably have been expecting this hold, so there's no need for any drastic or knee-jerk reaction from investors. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I would say it's more like investors have already factored in their expectation that they are going to hold rates, and when the rates were held, so it was so there was no need for the news to move majorly in the market.
Okay.
So, but if it were to be that the hiked rate, so then we might start seeing investors react to that.
Okay, or the cutting rates. Now, like the private sector are demanding a cutting rate. But let's look now. The things have been buzzing in the market. There's news. Fidelity Bank is out there. We all know this issue with the legacy matter and the disputes with a private company, a small company actually. But this matter has been, there's been allegations of bankruptcy for that bank right now. But we also see in the news that the CEO of Fidelity Bank has also increased a personal stake in the bank. But what does this, speak? According to sources, we see that she acquired about 18 million shares valued at over 366 million. So how should investors interpret the CEO's new purchase done on the very day of this misleading bankruptcy information, because the CBN has come to reassure the public Fidelity Bank has debunked the news as false. So what does it speak about Fidelity's position in light of the ongoing court case application and CBN's reassurance to the public?
Okay, I would say it speaks to increasing investors' confidence. Despite the negative news, of course, the bank came out to do a press release, and CBN also assured the public that there is no issue with the bank, and the bank has cleared the air that there's nothing of bankruptcy. So for the directors dealing that we saw on Monday, where we saw the director acquire the 10 million units of the shares additionally. So it just speaks to increasing investors' confidence that if a director who still went ahead to acquire such large amounts of units, so it's just signaling more confidence for investors. Yeah, and if we look at their financials, even in Q1 2025, so we could see their balance sheet size increased to about 10 trillion. And over the last few months, we have seen the stock performance as well. So it has been on the increase. So it's just signaling investors' confidence. And as of this morning, when the market opened, Fidelity Bank was the most traded stock in terms of volume and value. So at some point, we became the most traded stock in terms of value. So which means there are still investors that are interested in the stocks. Of course, you'll be selling some that would want to sell off to take profits. Probably they bought during the public offer that was held last year. So in as much as that might happen, there will definitely be a lot of investors interested in still buying the shares.
Okay, so we're looking at it now. Fidelity Bank is, the ongoing efforts by the bank to clarify the actual liability from the legacy disputes and the claim that the judgment amount was misrepresented. Is this a case of a test of legal interpretation, or is this a test of the financial stability of the bank right now?
So I would say, as stated in the press release by Fidelity Bank, that's based on the last court hearing that was aired. So no individual was permitted to bring the issue to the public, and it is part of what they are also addressing at the present moment, as stated in the press release. So it was not supposed to even come out in a negative way. So, and they have come to declare that the news is false.
Okay, so we'll see investors' confidence, because I think the strategic, the purchase of shares by the CEO could be considered as a strategic move. Is that it right now? We'll see,
Yes,
to
exactly.
reassure investors that the bank is still stable, there is nothing going on, and there should not be a run on the bank. Is that it?
Yes. Yeah. So, and I would say it is just a phase. And definitely, when investing, it's also important to look at the fundamentals. Of course, we have heard the news, and we have also heard the bank come to say that it is false. So that's on the news part. And if we even look at the fundamentals part, so we all know it's a company that is big on good fundamentals.
Okay.
So we should not neglect that part too.
We'll not neglect the fact that your Fidelity Bank has posted very good earnings report, and investors should not be scared. But we're seeing the price action on the stock at intraday. It was down. Fidelity is in the red. So do you see investors bargain hunting, buying the stock and boosting it back in the green zone?
Yes, I would say yes. Like I mentioned earlier, see, even if we are seeing a lot of people want to sell, there will still be a lot of people that want to buy, because they will see the price reduction as an opportunity to enter into the stock.
Okay, thank you so much, Oluwatobi Adesanya, equity trader, Zcrest Securities Limited, for your time on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.